All right, so here we have our form. I've shared it in the Google Plus community. I hope you've shared it with emails to friends, put it on Facebook, Twitter, just collect as much data as you can. Now people can actually fill it out right from in here. So I'm going to do homemade, or they could just click on the little link right here and it will open up as a separate form where you can see it a little clearer. And for these purposes, I don't mind you filling it out a couple times yourself. That way you're going to have a lot of data in there. The more data you have, the better the results will be. So you can even submit it again. So fill it out multiple times, but ask friends to do it too. So it's not just your data filling in the information. So again, in the Google Plus community, fill out each other's forms for each other. And so that was mine. And now I went back again, go back to your folder where you've kept your form. So here's the form itself. But when the form was created, it made another sheet with responses on it. You want to open that. And this was the Google spreadsheet. It automatically made a timestamp. It made the title, and that's why using the question title short, because what it did, it took those questions as you see in, let me close this, in the form. Whoop, let me go back. So if I click on, again, from the sheet, if I go to form, I can actually also edit the form. So if you need to change the questions, you can do that. So as you see, when I made the questions, I was very careful to make the title short, because those titles are what make up these column headers. And you don't want really long questions in there. It's easier to manipulate your data. So now, as you see, I could count them, and I could, if I click on this little thing and I go to data filter, I could sort it by alphabetical. If I wanted to just see it as, okay, all as one, but I don't want to have to count all of those by hand. I mean, it's crazy. So we can use something that's called, we could either make a chart, but the chart isn't going to count these are words, these aren't numbers. So we want to change this into a numerical value. So I'm going to click this, and now there may be new entries coming in. So I want to go way down. So, just leave lots of space for collecting future entries. So those are selected. Now, what you want to do is go to data, and it's something that's called a pivot table report. So I'm going to click on pivot table report, and I'm just doing this one question. I'm not going to do the other one at this point. And so the responses are from B1 to B46. Now you can increase that range if you think it's, I might even go to 100 because, I might get 100 entries. I want to make sure that they're all covered. Now I want to click add the fields. Now the top field is Thanksgiving dinner. And I could show totals for now. Now there's nothing in there except the choices. There's no other columns, but the values. Now I want the values for Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, but it's empty. But that's because it's trying to sum them. If you change it to count A, that gives me the total numbers for each choice. So I have, again, the ham, the roast, the turkey, and vegetarian. And there's a grand total of 10. Now, that little box went away, but if I click somewhere in this pivot table, it's going to show up again. Now, I could filter it if I wanted to. So if I wanted to just have a few, to show turkey, but I need all these. I don't want blanks, though. I don't know how I got a blank, so I'm just going to delete that. So now, what do we do with that? Now we have numerical values, and I can make a chart with it. Now, to make the chart, I'm going to click on the first cell, I'm going to hold the shift, and I'm going to click on the last. So I've selected this whole range, and now there's two places to get to charts. One's this little insert chart, and the other's to go to insert chart. So you can do it either way. And now in charts, I've got the grand total, I've got vegetarian. If I highlight, you can see the numbers, but now I don't really need the total. I don't think I want that. So I'm actually going to Let's see, I'm going to cancel that for now. See this little checkbox? I'm going to hit uncheck it, so I don't have the total. So now I'm going to also go back to look at the chart. So now I have, sort of looks okay. Let's see what it looks like when I change things. And I could switch rows with columns. I could look at a pie chart. I sort of think the pie chart tells the story a little better. Now, if I click on charts, you have a whole range that you can choose from. Trends, but again, you got to think of the appropriate graph that will tell you, represent your information and your data. To click on customize. Now this is where you give it a title, so really something simple. Thanksgiving dinner and choices, something like that. Something that explains what your chart is. And you can change, again, change the font size here. So I'm going to change it, and the color. So I'll give it a little Thanksgiving kind of color. You could change, then we go down here where we want the choices, either the left, or we could change it to the top. So I'm going to leave it at the top. Again, you can change your font style and make the title a little bigger. There we go. So the other thing is you can change the color of, if you scroll down, of your series, of your choices. So say ham is blue. I don't want that. I'm going to make ham as maybe a little pink. And I could make, if this drop down, I'm going to make a roast something dark. So maybe a dark brown. And let's make turkey. Turkey is like this color. And then I might want, again, vegetarian. Green's a good color for vegetarian. Maybe I'll make it a little lighter green or something there. So I would play with that. I don't think I like the pink, but let's try something brighter like that. Something that pops out. And I'll play around with the colors. I don't want to waste time. Sometimes I spend so much time with colors that you get lost in everything. So those are generally, that just gives an example of, again, my graph, the data that I took. So I hit OK, and now if I go, this is sort of like hidden in front. I want to actually move it. So if I click on it and see a little hand, you sort of drag it over so you can look at the numbers. If you hover over here, you can see, but it's not showing the numbers themselves in the pie chart. Let's see if we can get that to happen. If I click on this, click on the area you want to edit, click on that. That just changes the color. It's not going to change anything else. But over here, if I can do the advanced edit, let's just see if it gives us an option to show the numbers. Maximize. I don't see a choice, but maybe it shows up. Font. Let's go to charts and start and use rows. Well, I don't think so, but maybe if I used a different graph, it would. Here we go. Yeah, so if you hover, you can actually see, but then I'd have to change the colors back, and I don't want to do that. But you see what I mean, how you can manipulate that. So now what do I do with this? This is not my infographic. This is just a chart. So this is collecting the data, simplifying it, and how do I get it out of here? So again, if you click on it, there's a little drop down right here. I could move it to its own sheet, which is bigger, but now if I see how the pivot table, I have the chart. And from here, I could go back to it, publish it. I could advanced edit again, or I could save it as an image. So I'm going to click on save it as an image, and I'm going to put it on my computer. And then and just this chart, Thanksgiving, and when I make my infographic, I'm going to add it to that, and I have my data as well. So that's just the second step of analyzing it. And as I analyze, I can actually see, oh, pretty much traditionalist Thanksgiving dinners for turkey. In the next video, we'll show you how do I make an infographic using this data. You might go back now and also make if you go back to this form response sheet, you could do the same thing for for this cranberry sauce, the same steps. So you'll have that chart. You might make that chart in a different shape or whatever. So we'll see the next steps now. What do we do with that? How can we make an infographic to take all of this data and make a bigger, more complex analysis and visualization about the information? So good luck.